And we're back. Okay. And it's choppy again. Alright, where we left off, we were installing Windows. I was going to quickly do a power supply benchmark so I can get a number for my board for the 2060 Mini. I'm going to, of course, do all this later in depth and detail, but for the sake of the stream, if somebody wants to watch this later and they want to know, we're going to do it. Alright, so we're using the Final Fantasy 15 benchmark, which is a power supply pusher as far as game benchmarks go. Real world benchmarks. I'm using high quality at 4K. Brandon, you do need another mini computer. Of course you do.
You're good. You're good. You're good.
And we are at a measly 255 watts for the 2060. That's nice. The other 20 series cards I have, the 2080 and the 2080 Ti, are monsters. Gotta change one thing. It's gonna fall down for sure, isn't it? I'll use my handy dandy iPad stand. Ah. That almost works. 240 watts, 235. Yeah, that's fantastic. I think that means the HDPLEX 400 AC can actually run passively up to 300 watts. So that's great. Hey Alex, thank you for the super chat donation. I appreciate you. Well, if you wanted if you wanted to use a synthetic, Furmark is a good synthetic that's fairly safe if you use it properly. OCCT would really push a power supply, and I've blown up several power supplies using OCCT. Well, I've come close. I've only actually exploded one, so definitely only use that if you really know what you're doing. Yeah, so the quick reading, the highest number I've seen was 260 watts. That's with the 9700K and the 2060. So that's good enough for me for right now. I'll go do some crazier stuff later and test all this stuff out, but just so you guys have a number for your mini ITX builds, that's pretty great. No, this is actually a 9700K. The last build I did was an 8086, for clarification. So this is a 9700K, 32 gigabytes of DDR4, 3200 megahertz, and the Inno3D 2060 on the Asus Z390-i with a 500 gigabyte Evo 2? What do they call this now? I look at my trash. Oh, it's the 970 Evo Plus. Plus what? I don't know. Plus cheaper manufacturing methods, because it's now affordable. So, let's turn this off. Looks gorgeous, by the way, for running 4K. I mean, it's nice and smooth. I expected that. The 2060 is supposed to be pretty strong. let's do you guys interested at all at seeing bench? You probably could go look at a professional benchmarker. I don't need to do that. I just need to tell you the power draw. So this is going to get shut down. And let's put this inside of a mini. Fred, if you want to see a cool build, go watch the last live stream, because that will show you how you can do a brickless 2080 build in the mini. And there's no modding to the mini, just some modding to the power supply. So, yeah. But this is a different build than that. Alan Zoo, so the answer is Intel's 9000 series has extremely good power controls. I forget what the technical term is, but Intel actually has a dynamic voltage adjustment program, algorithm, or something inside of it. So it does a great job keeping it at 4100 megahertz with stock cooling. It's fantastic. It really is super, super great. Now, of course, if you want to disable that and you want to start overclocking, then no, it's gonna go to the moon. But you could put a 9900K inside of a mini, no problem, as long as you're using Intel stock power controls. If you want to know what those are, you can just Google and find that sheet for yourself, or somebody can link it in chat. But that's the answer. Hey, I see the owner of this build saying hi. Well, that's not pressure. I'm probably going to spill water all over it. Or drop the monitor with the HDMI cable plug. No, we are a professional outfit here at NFC Systems. Our cords hanging down the wall. We had audio issues last stream, so just to split the difference, I could actually plug in my good mic now, because I'm not going to power this on again. In fact, I'm going to do that because who wants camera audio? Not me. I don't want it, camera audio. One, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Alfred, I can't tell you whether most Z390 boards do. Asus's is actually fairly stock, which is incredible because you think that they would definitely override Intel settings if they could. But I've actually really only used the Asus Z390i. I got a whole wall of them. I used one and I was hooked. Very good motherboard. Very, very good motherboard. Very impressed with it. So I decided, okay, well, stick with what's good. Why complicate things? All right, mute your audio. I'm going to plug this in. I do not want to break your headphones. 3, 2, 1. Okay. We should be good. Audio, yeah, okay. So we should have better audio now. We should have better audio now. Ow. Ow. Oh, come on. All right. But Techno, I was eating. I'm not going to answer an email while I'm eating. I tried, actually, to do several. Okay. Put this up. Is it too quiet now? It's peeking like crazy over there. Oh, I believe it. I wasn't saying that manufacturers don't go crazy with that kind of thing. I was just saying I don't have any experience. Aces, like I said, is fairly stock. There are a couple things you need to change. But, well, you don't even actually need to change anything with the Z390i. To be honest, it's pretty good out of the box. At least with... I was buying them when they first came out, so future BIOS revisions could change that. But so far, they've all been pretty good. It's quite quiet now. But if I turn this up anymore, it's going to explode. Why don't you turn your my YouTube volume up? Because I know this is quieter than the camera audio, but rather than me peeking out, I think you should turn your computer volume up. And if you can't, then I will boost it from there. Because at least my levels look spot on, so I don't want to mess with that if I can help it. Oops. Anybody back from the last stream? I see a couple people, obviously, but... And my mini. Here's a pro tip. I have a very clean mat, but even still... screws can roll around on it, and you don't want to set your computer case where there could be screws. So use the little foam cover that comes in the mini box when assembling, and you will prevent any scratches from scratching your mini. I mean, technically, probably scratches can't scratch mini, but you know what I mean. Well, good to have you back, guys. I love that sound. Oh, I did the bottom one. I thought it looked backwards. That's okay. May's gonna get naked. Super naked. Especially because this customer wants a aftermarket bezel. And I did not hear back. I see you in the chat, so send me that email if you like the smoke bezel, because I have those ready and I can build the mini right now. But if you still want the frosted acrylic, then, well, I need to make that. And tomorrow is going to be very busy, but I'll try. I'll try. Tyler, right now I can't do any mini painting, and I don't know anybody that can do mini painting. I'm working on getting my powder coating stuff back up, but it's still going to be a little bit. Got a lot of stuff I need to get out of the way first. So definitely try to find somebody local. Go check out their work. That's very important. Talk about what you want to do. Because a lot of people don't get it. When you say you want to paint a computer case, they don't get it at all. They just think that, okay, it's an industrial type of job. But you're like, no, I want to see, you know, your motorcycles and your cars. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. I don't want you to be using Sharpies and stuff on inside where you didn't get it, or use black spray paint on the inside if they missed some powder coating. Yeah, that last custom paint job for that customer that I didn't do, he did it or somebody else did, I would pay to have it redone because it was not good, in my opinion. Not good at all. Yeah, it does sound like unsheathing the blade. It's awesome. I love that sound. I gotta take out this too. Is this case the size of an ATX motherboard bare? Yeah, actually, it's kind of hard to say because it has volume, but yeah, it really is. It's a little bit... I have an ATX motherboard, I'll just show you. Speaking of ATX motherboards, I kind of want to buy a cheap Devil's Canyon CPU for this one, or trade this for a mini ATX motherboard. I don't need anything fancy, but just a Z97 board, so I can build myself a computer. So it's a little bit taller, but it's also a little bit narrower. Oh, I'm so sorry, coughing right next to the mic. Alan Zoo, all the screws in this mini are M3. And they're about 5mm. They're not really 5mm. I guess the whole screw is 5mm, but they're countersunk, and that's how you measure countersunk screws, apparently. All right, let's pop this guy off. Well, actually, I got to take the graphics card off first. That would not work very well. Yeah, Mac, I may be interested. It just all depends on the price, but you can send me an email for that kind of stuff. Come on. There we go. I'm running out of space over here. I'm so messy. Hey, Cyrus, how's it going? Good to see you back. Perfect fit. Oh, I love it so much. And the other powder coated case was way too... Tolerances were not good after that. Where did I put my little screw bucket? I just had it. I'm so disorganized when I get doing these streams. I just put things wherever, you know? Well, that's okay because the case comes with screws. But a generous heaping amount of beautiful black M3 screws. Using a number 2 screwdriver, which is the appropriate screwdriver to use for the Mini and for most things in life. So buy the proper screwdriver and you don't have to worry so much about stripping your screws. You don't need to tighten anything in the Mini too tight. Just go until basically it stops, just when it's super loose, just the torque of the screwdriver spinning itself, and then just 1/4 turn. That's how I like to do it. Sometimes I do a little bit tighter on stuff that I'm shipping long distances, just because I don't know how, but screws can rattle out. And sometimes I will use thread locker on certain components if it's going overseas, because again, I don't understand it, but screws can fly out during shipping. Thanks, Mac. I think you could, Chris. It could be interesting to do one with riser cables. Riser cables are a big game changer, and you can make all sorts of really cool stuff with different motherboards. But I'm just a Mini ITX or below fan, to be honest. Especially with M.2 opening up avenues of card expansion, crazy cool ones. And again, Mac, I really appreciate that. You're the man. All right, so I have the Asus Z390i motherboard installed. Now, with this motherboard, because it uses that built-in backplate, the backplate doesn't pop in like a normal one does, which is fine. It's absolutely fine, but I just wanted to point that out. Some people were asking if this works with the Mini. Of course, it works great with the Mini. Works great with about any. But it doesn't pop in there. It doesn't click in there, because that's just how it's designed. I'm going to remove the sky bracket so you can see more of the heatsink, because I mean, like, what's the point of having this giant heatsink if you can't see it? Because it doesn't really cool anything off. There we go. All right, so this build is special because it is a brickless 2060 build. And to achieve this, as I talked about in a previous live stream, basically, I checked with the customer because he was talking about having a custom plate made for this, and I gotta see what he wants to do. I don't know if I would do it personally, but it could work out fine. You just gotta experiment with these kinds of things. But anyway, this works because the 8-pin connector on the 2060 will happen to fit with the power brick inverted on the interior, because it rubs up right against each other. So yes, so I just need to swap the in and out cable, run it around somehow. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do it yet, but I'm going to do it. Okay, let's see what Johannes wants to do. I don't know about guaranteeing. Guess I'll just hold off and worry about that tomorrow then. Just worry about part 1 tonight. So how do I want to tackle this? If I ran, I gotta use a Skywire cable for sure. If I run Skywire cable for now, up and over, see, I was kind of interested in trying out no cover, because I was thinking that the fans from this Inno 3D would blow air on this transverse fin design into the power supply. I thought that would be kind of clever. And if I put a cover on it, then I have to use the HDPLEX end fan, which is fine, but it was just something I thought would be kind of interesting. I guess for now I'm going to run it without the cover because I want to see what it looks like. So I can always go back. Just don't have a lot of time to do this particular build. Probably going to have to make a special cable for this. It's not going to fit the other way, right? There's no hope of it fitting the other way. There is hope of it fitting the other way. What am I talking about? Well, I guess to actually know, I have to install the graphics card, so let's do that first. And that fits perfect too. Oh, it's just awesome. Okay, I see. So basically you need a super low profile C8 connector. The superest, lowest profilest connector. Which yeah, if you are running a 24-pin plug-in unit instead of like the HDPLEX 400, you could install these fans. Why would you want to install them? I don't know. I put them in there mostly to be used as mounting points for adapter plates for different power supplies, and the cutouts fit, so, you know, why not? Some people thought it'd be cool to put like tiny little radiators in the front. I mean, you can do whatever you want to fit with that. I put them in there because I could. Will this be low profile enough? That's the question, because I would certainly much rather prefer this orientation for the power supply so I don't have to rewire it and run custom cables everywhere. Larry, you are the man. Okay, guys, that fits beautifully. So this is the NO3D 2060, and you can run the cables in the stock position with the HDPLEX 400 cover off. Now, obviously, you should not be sticking your fingers and stuff inside there, and you should make sure that there's no metal parts that are going to be touching the inside of the power supply there, because that's bad, obviously. But if you are responsible, I don't see why that is a problem. That is just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I love it. That is just great. And I'm really interested to see too, because the NO3D transverse fin design and dual fans, it's going to blow air into the power supply. It's going to keep it even cooler, and you're not going to have an extra fan. Not that we need it anyways, because as we just did that test, we found that this system actually will draw under 300 watts. 261 was the peak that I saw, and this will work passively. But still, it's pretty interesting. I think it's pretty interesting anyway. All right, next step will be to get the 400 mounted. Hello, not a Jen. Mendel says, won't the GPU be blowing hot air into the power supply? Yeah, it will be blowing hot air into the power supply, but the hot air that the GPU is blowing is far cooler than the surface temperature of the components inside the power supply. so it's going to cool it off fine. I mean, you don't need a lot of crazy cooling for the power supply. You just need some airflow. And the thing about it is, if I use the HDPLEX fan here in the front, it's going to be kind of close to that front panel, so it's not going to really get to breathe real nice. And it has to push air all the way through this long chamber, and it's just not really a fan that's designed for it. It works, right? It works, but it's still going to be really hot by the time it gets to the end of it. So I think that cooling is going to be dramatically improved by doing it this way. I could be wrong, but that's my hypothesis anyway. All right, so here's the GPU. Now I'm going to use a Skywire cable. Yes. This is going to be beautiful. Beautiful computer. I am jealous of this computer. Skywire 24. I sell cables for the HDPLEX 400, which are the exact length that they need to be, because who likes extra clutter? Not I. See how it's bent like that? Goes in here, plugs in like that. Look at that, isn't that pretty? That 24 pin. I think it's pretty. Here's the DC in. Or I guess here's the DC out going into the DC in. And how do I want to comb that? I think bending it back toward, yeah, that looks good. Towards the front. Come around. I'm going to go underneath the heatsink. Use the Inno3D back plate to cover that. Then I'm going to use two what do you call them? Zip ties. That's going to look just beautiful right there. Yep. Gonna match that up. Is it safe to keep the GPU cables in like that permanently? They're not touching anything. If they're touching anything, it would be the top of some capacitors. It should be totally fine. I mean, it's all an experiment, right? At the end of the day, we can't know until we try, but as far as jank things that I've done, this is actually not even jank. This is actually just nice and Tetrisy. I mean, think about it. Those cables already coming out, right? The same types of cables are inside, soldered directly onto the board. So it's not like it's something weird. Tyler says, would my Zotac 1080 Mini fit with the 400 in there? No, it does not fit with the 400. There may be some other ways. Again, if you go watch, well, you got to watch that last video and then you can kind of see what you're doing. I think that you would need to use the Dynamo 360 and move the 360 to the center of the chassis above the riser cable. And that's how you would do a brickless 1080 build, Zotac 1080 mini build, or any Zotac mini builds. Otherwise, you got to stick with the Gigabyte. But the Gigabyte makes the Gigabyte 2070 and when they come with the 2080 does fit. Go watch that last build. That was actually really interesting. I was pretty impressed with how things went together in that. But as far as cards go, man, I love the 1060. The 1060 was a fabulous card for just how much horsepower it had and how energy efficient it was. And of course, the 2060. I mean, I actually don't know the performance numbers. I'm not a computer guy, believe it or not. I don't like go watch those kinds of videos. I like tinkering and building stuff, but I do all the testing myself. So I don't know the benchmarks for the 2060 yet. Is basically what I'm saying. I benchmark everything in-house. That way I actually have a really good solid reference of how a card compares to another, because I care about things like noise and power consumption and micro peaking as much as I do about actual performance. This is the Inno3D 2060, by the way. I wonder if you even get the grounding loop with the ground disconnected. I'm going to probably guess no, and that's awesome. Oh yeah, this is a cool mini. I'll show you another reason why it's a cool mini in a second when I finish wiring it up. I do have some experience putting minis together and wiring them and making them look nice. So it is partially that I make this look easy, but at the same time, this is pretty easy as far as crazy mini builds go. So that's exciting news for do-it-yourselfers. This is a beautiful build. This might be one of my new favorite mini build. Customer's a cool guy too. Most of my customers are really cool. 99% of them. Nope. See, that's the professional service that you get. It was right there. That was a different type of zip tie, and I want them all to look the same. And then now that we got them done, I like to rotate them all around so you don't see the heads, just the straps. I do need one more for this corner. The 2060 is similar to the 1070 performance. That is awesome. Especially if it undervolts as well as the 1080 and the 1080 Ti. That is truly impressive. Then this definitely is my favorite mini build that I've done then. Now for the riser. Yes. Oh yeah, there's definitely a story, but I will never do that. I will never talk bad about a customer, even though I really, really want to. Because it's an amazing, amazing story. It's incredible. And if you're sitting there wondering, oh, am I that customer? No, you're not. You're not. I did this last time and it was really cool. I'm going to see if I can go for a twofer without putting any stress on it, because that's the worst thing in the world that you can do. I managed to pop it in there. Ow! Prickly. What happened to my tool? Here's my tool. Bingo. I need 2 zip ties for that. This is the Inno3D 2060. I'm not grounding the case with the C8 input, actually. It doesn't need it. And I also think that will help that grounding feedback problem anyway. It just comes with the ground. I'm not going to bother to cut it off in case the customer does something later. Puts this, if he decides to put this in a different computer case, shame on him, but he might. That's a good spot for it, right there. All right, so now it is, that'll look better if it's right there. Now the on-off switch, and the customer ordered a special color. That I have to find. And we need to get the other panels too. Where did I put that button? Oh, there it is. These are available for a very limited amount of time in my secret shop, which the password is Discord 2019. And when I say limited, they are very limited. I could go from the silver to the black. I think I'll do that. I'll just murder it all out. I'm still trying to sell him on the smoke black front bezel because I think that looks amazing. But he wants the frosted bezel end, which is a good looking bezel too. So it's not like that wouldn't be good or anything. It would be really good, but I love that smoke gloss bezel I have. And because that's the only one I have right now, I want to put that on to show you guys. And the power button too, because I have to wire this one up. I went and I found a premium switch that's radial brushed in the color that he wanted. But it's not my custom switches. So I'm going to use one of my custom switches for the build right now since I have it wired up. Still a nice button. Did I do both sides? Yeah, good. Okay. So the only thing I don't like about the Asus Z390i, besides kind of silly how big the heat sinks are, but you can take them off, so not a big deal, and I guess it's better to have it than not, is the placement for the power switch. Yes, this end of the board. So you need a really long power button. So that's when you go to my website, you see that there's two options for my custom switch. So yeah, you need a long one for this motherboard. But that motherboard's like the only one I know of. There might be another one or two, but I have a measurement thingy. Alright, I'm going to show you guys. The Roach says, is there a reason I'm not selling the parts for this case as a bundle? What do you mean exactly, my friend? And I will try to answer your question. Which parts do you mean? Yeah, the S4 Mini and the Skyreach 4 Mini are basically the same thing. So I've had two versions of it. The S4 Mini, which was the original, which is now called the S4 Mini Classic or S4MC. And then there's this one, which is the Skyreach 4 Mini. So it's still the S4 Mini, but it's the S stands for Skyreach. Instead of small. And I did that because the S4 Mini Classic is a really different... It has the same layout, right, as this case, the revolutionary console case layout. But this has... It has a special design. I don't really want to talk about that right now, or I don't know if I will in a while, but it's a layout that I want to use for other computer cases in the future because of how it's designed. This is a super unique chassis. Not just the size, but how it's put together. And a lot of people, I don't think, appreciate that, which is good. I really want that right now because I'm not big enough to deal with more competition. But there's some cool things about this chassis with how it's put together, which would work for lots of different case designs. But one of the big things is that you have so much room in this box because of how it's put together, but it's still super strong. I just sprayed it with Novus 1, which is absolutely a must-have if you have any plastic products in your house. It's a cleaner for plastic. It can make plastic look like new, but what's really neat about it is that it also destaticizes acrylics and some kinds of plastics, so it doesn't collect dust as much. It also repels dust too because it like leaves this really slick coating. You don't want to use it on your monitor display because it's very hard to get off, but it's safe. It's safe to use on it. It's not like Windex. This is amazing for like acrylic reservoirs and acrylic water block tops. I don't make any panel at all for the S40 Classic. The S40 Classic is done. It is done. I want to keep it rare for the people that supported me and bought him and launched this business that I have now, which I'm very appreciative of. And I've always kind of wanted to be like a rare special edition thing too. So I don't know. I mean, I have a customer now that wants another X299. But I'm doing some custom cases right now for the X299. Some of my high-end customers want that motherboard, and they have money to pay for custom stuff, so that fits it better. I have one that's been in development forever, and I feel so bad because I really want to get it done for the guy, but it's almost done. I have problem after problem. I milled out this beautiful, really old growth walnut, and then it warped on me, like as I was working on it. After I milled it really thin, which was horrible. So I had to like steam press it again and wait a long time to get it flat. I don't know. I'm going to hope the Skyreach 4 can be back in stock this month, but at the very least, I want you guys to be able to pre-order it. Right now, the only way to get one is by ordering a full custom build, and I don't think I have any spots left, but you can try if you're serious about it, and I can put you on there in case somebody drops. This is an older bezel that doesn't have wide enough holes for me to make these micro adjustments, so it's being stubborn. So they I'm gonna have to go ream that. That's the best way to do it, so don't hurt anything. I'm gonna do the things the right way. The right way is the best way. I'll be right back. Sorry. Putting this on backwards. And you guys didn't say anything. Again, this is temporary button and maybe bezel, just to show you guys. what a complete system looks like, since I have to do some custom work for this. Looks like power goes here, fan goes here, or LED goes here. And I tuck that between the key. That's what looks best, in my opinion. And I do need one zip tie, looks like. Lock that down for the looks. All right, before I put the cover on, I want to show you the inside of this computer case. I'm hoping that I like this computer case a lot. This build is just mwah, tops. I like how it's translucent, so you can kind of see into it. You can see the HDPLEX stuff behind it. You can see lights once it reflects inside of it, but it looks just black otherwise. I have to look off the camera because I can't see it. I can't look into the camera when I do it. This is a really pretty computer. So props to the customer for making good choices. Happy that this works real easy too, because guys, this is a great template to use for your own builds. It was, as far as mini builds go, very simple. Oh man, I just love the look. I love the look of the fans too. On the Inno 3D, they kind of reflect the light inside. That's cool. They actually match the front bezel too. They're kind of made out of that same plastic. Same kind of clear black plastic. This is a really cool computer. I am jealous. I'm not patting myself on the back. Of course, I'm not doing that. I'm just saying this is a cool computer. I would love to own one of these. And black's not my thing. That's why I have the silver panels, right? But this just, it has the right stuff going on. Let's power it up, see if it even works. I mean, I got a lot of work to do on it still inside the computer, right? But I want to see that RGB. Give me some of that. Yeah, there's no brick at all. This is the only thing you got. This thing right here. That's it. Done. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's the thing about RGB is that you can change it to however you want. I like white with black. The customer wants to have he said amber, but the color he linked me I call ochre, which is kind of old school. Purple and black, that looks awesome. I have to say though, I was a big hater of RGB. Not personally, I don't like to hate on things like vocally or publicly, I should say, but it just wasn't my thing. But in person, if you guys aren't just to see it in person, it can work. I think it can work in person. It's pretty effective. But whenever you see it online, it's like ugh. Oh, that's beautiful looking. Gotta get just the right reflection. There you go. No smoking so far. Excluding the case. The case is what makes it so cool. You can go do any kind of 2060 build otherwise in any other case. But where's the build sheet? The total cost, including my labor for this, is $1963. And that includes the custom cables and some work that I still need to do. Use that for the cover photo for later. While I wrap up the stream, thank you guys for watching. It was a lot of fun building this one with you guys. Sorry we had to do it in 2 stream parts. But that's how it is sometimes. I will, God willing, see you next Monday. And yeah, thank you to the customer for letting me build this. I'm going to go talk to him and talk to him about his custom work. So I shall talk to you guys. Oh yeah, I guess I missed the cost of GPU, but go price one out. I'll send a link to the Discord server before I drop off. Yeah, and check out the other stream I did earlier today. It was really cool because that basically is the formula for doing a 1080 build without modding the actual computer case. So, I will talk to you guys later. See you guys next time.